As part of your RAPID CPT configuration in OpenGround, you probably need to set your default templates for CPT to plot properly, and that's done two different ways. One is under Manage Templates, just to set a default report for your quick logs. So let's do that first. So as you see, you have your different location types, and the one I'm looking for is the SCP. That's a static cone penetrometer, as OpenGround calls it. So I'm going to set that as my CPT report standard, and I'm going to choose whatever strip set I want. So if I like the 1986 with a soil behavior type from Roberts and Campanella based on the friction ratio, or I want the 1990 based on the normalized friction ratio, or the 1986 based on BQ, or the 1990 based on the BQ normalized, we've got them all in here. So pick whichever one you want to be your default strip set to print. So in this case, I'm going to do the 1980, let's do 1990 right there. So basically, we're going to set that up. That'll be our default strip set, so it'll report properly. Okay, so that's your managed templates. Now, if you have report profiles where you want to set a report profile up for, I'm going to call this Scott's CPT, and if you want to make it default for everybody, then you set whatever your reports are for each different hole type. And the only one we really care about here is static cone penetrometer, so let's make that our CPT report standard. We're going to use the same SBTFR normalized, the 1991. We're going to set it on a letter size paper. We're going to set it landscape, and maybe we want 30 feet per page. So you set this up, and if you're doing a log report instead of a quick log, then it will print the way you want. Now, something to keep in mind, if you have multiple ways you like to report it, so you're going to do our standard report that way, but maybe you want to do a second variation of that where you use a different strip set. So maybe you do lots of strength-related design and you want to have the strength strip set on there. And let's do letter as well and set the 30 feet per page and make it landscape. So now what will happen is that for each sounding, it'll print the first strip set on the first page, then it'll do the second strip set immediately following it. So you'll get your normal one followed by your shear strength related strip set. Let's save that. Now we've got that set up. So now I've jumped into HoleBASE and I want to look at So now I've jumped into OpenGround, and all I need to do is let's look at what happens if we do a quick log. So we see it's an SCP. So if I do a quick log, it's going to automatically print it on the CPT report standard. And let's change it to be landscape, and let's change the units per page to be 30 instead. So it got close, but not quite exactly the way I would want it. There we go. Now we've got our 30 feet per page. If I want to do my log report, I select multiple ones, I do my log report, and now it generates what you will see is the first page is based on the standard report, whereas the second page, so you see our standard 6 columns the way we want them. Then the second one is based on our shear strength, or our strength envelope, so phi prime OCR, SU, shear wave velocity modulus, and K naught. It'll do that for each of the different soundings. So there you go. That's setting your default reports and your report profiles in OpenGround.Cloud for RAPID CPT.